Hey guys, how are we today? Hey Brett, good to see you. How are you? And Tony, happy Thursday. Hey Chopper, it's good to see you, buddy. It's been a long time. All your people have been worried about you. I'm so glad to see all you guys. How are you? I I do have a few updates, and unfortunately, we're here about a not so good update. On my community tab, I think that it was either, hey 71, good to see you. I think that it was either Saturday or Sunday that I shared the endangered missing flyer for these three little girls. It's 5-year old Olivia, 8-year old Evelyn, and 9-year old Paityn. And they unfortunately were found deceased. So that's a not so good update. But let's talk about the other updates that we do have. We have some good ones. First, I want to tell you guys remember when I was yeah, Chopper, I remember that. Yep. Oh my goodness. You gotta be careful, buddy. That I'm really proud of you guys for trying to make a difference like that. Um okay, Brad, no problem. You guys remember when I was speaking about when the sheriff shot the judge allegedly in Letcher County, right? I found there were three more murders there that hadn't been solved yet. It was Lois Rogers Trent. Remember her daughter, her granddaughter Allison came up and spoke to us, and then also there was a mother and daughter who were found deceased. It was Patricia, and she went by Trish, Roberts Dethridge, and she was found murdered on 8/1 of 23. And then, you guys, it was so, not a coincidence in my mind, but so that was in August. And then March of the following year, her mama's name was Angela, and she had been writing on Facebook and leaving her phone number and telling anybody that knew anything about her daughter's murder to contact her. She was trying so hard, you guys. And she had written I think that it was Trisha's birthday, and she'd written a lovely post on there and on Facebook, and she was asking again for anybody that knew any information to come to her and tell her about it. And you guys, the next day she was found deceased from a gunshot wound in the local cemetery down the road from her house. And I just couldn't imagine. I know that she had some grandkids, and then Trisha's kids too suffered such an unimaginable loss in just a few months from August to March, right? And but there has been somebody arrested for the mama's murder, and hopefully they're making moves over there, you guys, and hopefully that they can also solve Trisha's murder, and then also Lois Rogers Trent. You guys know that that one is close to my heart, um, for many reasons, because Lois reminded me of my mama so much, and then Angela, Allison was she came up and spoke to us, and she was the first interview the only interview that I've done. And I was so worried about that because I didn't want to act like I didn't want to become too close and be biased somehow, you know. Hey Carl, how are you? Yeah. um there is, Carl, definitely something is definitely up over there. And I uh I sent for some FOIAs for some videos about that, and you have to send a money order. You can't send a you can't do it with your card over the internet. And I'm going to have to, usually if I have to do something like that, I'll get a certified check from my bank, but I think that I'm gonna have to go to like Walmart or somewhere and get a money order. So I'm still planning on doing that, but old school, huh? But let me show you guys this. So this is Patricia, remember, and then down here is her mama. Beautiful, two beautiful girls, and it was Angela, yep, and she was murdered on March the 7th of 2024. So they have made an arrest in that case, and I wanted to show you guys about that. Um, so Letcher County man charged in connection with 2024 death of Wattsburg woman. And it said that an arrest was made just before 8 p.m. on March the 7th. They announced in a news release that troopers, so this just tells a little bit about her death. And but it said that they did that he was charged after a grand jury. So I'm still looking for, and all this is just like 20 seconds. Let's see.
A Letcher County man has been indicted and arrested after more than a deadly, say 59-year-old Angela Roberts was found dead from a gunshot wound March of 2024 after the investigation. A grand jury indicted 65-year-old Mark Miles of Whitesburg. He was custody Thursday and is being held without bond at the Letcher County Jail.
So that's really all I have about that, but hopefully more comes out. And when I was researching all those cases, you guys, I don't remember his name ever coming up. Um, I don't know what that was playing, guys. Something else was playing. Um, but I do have, you guys can go back, and I do have a playlist for the Letcher County stuff if you guys want to check it out. I I felt really bad because everybody is talking about the judge and the sheriff, right? But not many people. Well, seen that I couldn't find a whole lot about Angela and Trish, and then Lois Rogers Trent. You guys are grandmother, and she was viciously murdered, viciously, and they all deserve justice. So here's the playlist if you guys want to check that out. Hey hippie chick, how are you? Okay, Chopper, no problem. Thank you for coming by. Yeah, Carl definitely favors. Yeah, crazy. Definitely not a coincidence that the lawsuit was coming up either when the sheriff decided to do that. And I'm not sure if I have to say he allegedly shot the judge or not because he's on video doing it, right? But just in case, we don't want to get sued up in here, so we'll leave it like that. But you guys, we also have another good update. Like, remember, I also on National Missing Children's Day just a few days ago. Well, I think it was last week. I spoke about Alyssa Petrov, and remember, she was the little girl missing from Utah. Hey, Miss Robinson, how are you? Thank you for coming. There's the live that I did about her if you want to check it out. And remember, they found that she had been speaking to at least three men on an iPad that her mama and dad didn't know about. And they did arrest those three men, and they're all in jail as far as I can find. But a few days ago, I believe that it was the second, she walks into a police station in Colorado Springs, and I think that's not only, but I think that's about 500 miles from her home. And they said that she's in good spirits, and I wanted to show you guys. Um, so that was an absolute miracle in my mind. Um, Let me show you guys. So this is what the South Jordan police said. They said in the evening hours of June 1st, 2025, a young female voluntarily made contact with the Colorado Springs Colorado Police Department and identified herself as Alyssa Petrov. Alyssa's identity was confirmed. Alyssa is in good health and safe with Colorado officials. Alyssa's parents have been notified of her location and are working with South Jordan Police to bring her home. And they left quickly to go there and see her. And her dad made this post. And now, since he's got his baby back home, I still check out his Facebook, and I knew that it was a problem, you guys, but it hits home when you see the faces, and he is sharing all about more kids like Alyssa that were lured away from home over the internet. And I think that that's great. Excuse me, that he is using his platform to do good now. You know, um, he says, "Thank you to everyone for all your help. Thank you for sharing the news. Thank you for following. And thank you for the tips." Alyssa walked into a police department today on June 1st, 2025. She was gone for almost 6 weeks. Special thanks to the South Jordan Police Department who worked on weekends and to the Salt Lake City FBI who helped them. Thank you to all of our friends for your help and support. And thank you to Jasmia for Missing in America Network for the best emotional support in such stressful situations. Also, thank you to our local community for praying. So, the Missing in America Network is the good one, you guys, not the one that has all of the, I haven't looked into it a whole lot, but the founder has charges, I believe, and stuff like that. So I don't want to be supporting stuff like that. Um, but let me see here. I think that I have a short video here that we can watch. Let me see here.
15-year-old girl missing from South Jordan has been found safe. Alyssa Petrov has been missing for nearly a month and a half when she showed up at the Colorado Springs Police Department last night. In the wake of her disappearance, 3 men from 3 states have been charged with having inappropriate conversations with her online. We have team coverage for you this evening. Our Jonathan Mays in the newsroom looking at how police handle these types of investigations. But first, we go to our Sarah Murphy.
It wasn't just quote unquote inappropriate conversations. SF investigates the Alyssa's parents hired him to help find her, and he showed some paperwork of the nasty, demented conversations that these men that are now in jail that they had with Alyssa, and it's not just quote inappropriate; it's sick and disgusting.
In South Jordan, she's been speaking with the Petrov family. Sarah, what an ordeal they have been through these last 42 days now.
To say the least, Brian, what an update we've received in the past 24 hours with regards to the latest on this case, a case many have been following across the state for 6 weeks now. The latest update, 15-year-old Alyssa Petrov alive, safe, and with police. We first heard about it late last night when we were on the phone with South Jordan Police Department. That's where we are right now. They're the team who's leading the investigation into this. They have been for about a month and a half. They say Petrov showed up at the Colorado Springs Police Department and identified herself as the teenager who went missing. Again, so many people involved, so many questions about this case.
So, SF also showed, he said that, well, the latest person they arrested, that guy from Miami, Matthew, he said that he had been trying to talk to Matthew's girlfriend to help find Alyssa and that she wouldn't talk to him. And people say that they don't think, you can have your own feelings about SF and stuff like that. And people don't think that he helped the investigation at all, but he was obviously putting pressure on them, and not just him, but everywhere. Alyssa had a lot of coverage that a lot of cases unfortunately don't get, and I think all of that coverage together, if I was somebody, I mean, I wouldn't harbor Alyssa anyways, but I'm saying that those people, they might not harbor her since there's so much coverage of her. So I think all of it helped, and the prayers too, definitely.
What happened? Who was she with? Was she with anyone? We want to know those answers too. We're doing our very best to try and confirm some of those with you. We will keep you updated in the days to come as we learn more. South Jordan Police Department says since this is a case involving a minor, they're going to be pretty close-lipped about it. We will keep you updated with what we know. I do want to keep you updated with what we know so far. We know police arrested 3 men already, partially, they say, in connection with 15-year-old Elisa Petrov. They're all charged for sexually exploiting and enticing a minor. We saw one of those men, Matthew Menard from Florida, for the first time today for his very first court appearance in Utah County. Take a listen.
Judge, he's in Salt Lake Jail, and they're not on until 2.
He's on.
That's the tech executive from Miami.
He's in the Utah County Jail.
We got him there now.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
looks like that. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, what you heard there was, it was quick and brief what you just heard there, but that pretty much shows what we heard in that court meeting today. All we really know is they rescheduled another appearance for him a week from today. That's next Monday. Brian mentioned earlier, what an update, and we just can't help but think how her family is feeling, hearing this news that she is alive and safe. I was able to, just moments ago, talk with her aunt on the phone. She shared a statement with us that I want to pass along to you. She says, "We just want to express our biggest gratitude to everyone who has helped to find Elisa. I know the police department has been doing an amazing job, and the FBI, also the news stations who helped spread the word, all the people who have prayed for Elisa. We are so grateful for their support." Again, they acknowledge that so many people, especially here in Utah, have really been paying attention to this case. They've been thinking of and showing their support to the family. The family says they're grateful for that. Again, a lot of questions still remain. What's going on? What's to come? We're going to keep you posted as we learn more. For now, live in South Jordan, Sarah Murphy, ABC.
So I don't think that we're going to hear a whole lot more about Alyssa, and that's fine. That is great. I just hope that she gets the help that she needs. And but I do want to keep up with these 3 men and see what happens to them, and if there's any more. 71 says, "Who the hell has a teenager go to Vegas on her own from a distant state?" Yeah, yep. And I won't understand that, and it's good that we won't understand it. It means that we aren't like them. So today that brings us to the case that we're here for today, and it's not a good one at all, you guys. Let me get my notes pulled up here. But I do want to go ahead and tell you that there is a fugitive that is still at large, and his name is Travis Decker. And if you know anything at all, if you've seen him since May the 30th, last Friday, until now, or if you know where he is at this moment, the U.S. Marshals have issued a $20,000 reward, and the contact numbers are scrolling across the bottom of my screen, and they're also in my description. And also, I made a community post earlier this morning so that you could share it. It has more photos of him and things like that. And like I always say, just share the information. You don't have to share my channel or anything. Hey, Sunday, how are you? Okay, sounds good. You be safe. Absolutely. So first I want to get his photos out here, and he is 32 years old, and he's 5 feet 8 inches tall, and he weighs 190 pounds. And he can, this is back when he was in the forces. And let's look at his tattoos here. This looks like a fish on this side, and then some tribal bands on this side. He won't be able to cover those up. And this is when he was a bit more clean cut. And this is him too. We can get a better picture of those tattoos. And then this is him recently. So he's let his hair grow out and his facial hair. But I've never seen a man change their looks so drastically like this. Women can change their looks a lot with their hair or hair color, but he looks totally different to me. And this is him with longer hair. So I want to take you back and tell you a little bit about him. Oh, and he was last seen wearing light colored shirt and dark shorts. And I will show you guys a video of the last time he was seen when he picked up his little girls this last Friday. He was supposed to pick them. He did pick them up at 5 p.m. and he was supposed to have them back by 8 p.m. And when he didn't, their mama Whitney called the Wenatchee PD and reported them missing about 9:45 that night. And we're also going to talk about why they did issue an endangered missing persons alert for them, but not an Amber Alert. And they said that the kids weren't in immediate danger. And I have some videos about that too, because this definitely needs to change. The Wenatchee police, they actually contacted the the Washington State Police 2 times trying to get an Amber Alert about these children, and they didn't even issue the endangered missing alert until the next day, until Saturday at 4 p.m. Tony says he looks completely different with the shorter hair and no facial hair. I know, it's kind of crazy, huh? And they did find the children deceased on Monday, you guys. But let's start back so we can figure out how we got here the best that we can. None of us are going to understand because, like I said in Alyssa's case, none of us would do this, right? So we're not going to be able to understand, but we'll try our best, right? So this is Travis back when he was in school, and he is a native of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and he graduated from Milwaukee High School in the Milwaukee metropolitan area. Um, I was talking to Nate because I didn't know how to say that, and it's like Milwaukee, but without the mill, so it's Milwaukee, right? And he was a member of a standout 2010 wrestling team, and he wrestled in the state finals that year. And the suspect's brother, TJ Decker, he said that his brother graduated from school in 2010, but they had some kind of falling out several years ago, and they haven't spoken in several years. So that's something to note too. And then he joined the army in 2013, and he was active duty until 2021. And he was a full member of the Guard until 2023 or 2024 when he switched to part time. And when he was active duty and he went to the National Guard, he had, I guess you have to be discharged, and he had an honorable discharge from that. He was actually a ranger, and I'll show you guys a little bit more about that. But now he hasn't been to his drills in the National Guard for about a year, so they were trying to get paperwork to discharge him, and not in an honorable way. Um, I know, Heather Bratt. I know they're absolutely beautiful little girls, and I'll show you them in just a few minutes. So the first I have is this is a little bit more about his military background, and this news station spoke to his father a little bit about it. So I'll play this, and then I'll read this article to you guys.
Ex-father today. He told our sister station in Wisconsin his son's mental health struggles actually started after an army tour in Afghanistan. We also heard from a fellow soldier who told us Travis Decker was an Army Ranger who trained for 2 years at JBLM. Now, to be clear here, nothing will ever justify the horrific murders he's accused of committing here, but we are getting a clearer picture of what's behind his family's concern surrounding his mental health. According to Travis Decker,
Yeah, guys, I'm having trouble with this too, because you guys know, well, my stepdad, he retired from the Air Force, and um my little brother is a state police detective. So I have, for I have the utmost respect for those in blue and also those that fought for our freedoms. It doesn't pass me by that in a lot of countries you don't have freedom of religion. Like we would all be persecuted for even having a Bible and stuff like that without these people. But you kind of hold them to a higher regard that that they wouldn't do these things. You know, a more their morality shouldn't come in question and things like that. Guys, I just dropped a link in the chat, and if you're a member of the armed forces and need additional resources, there is a link. And someone that was in the Navy gave me that link, and they said that there is a lot of good resources there. Um, but I have to. Everybody that is in the armed forces isn't good either. You know, it's like any job or anywhere, they're not all good. So we kind of have to take that into account too. And like the news anchor just said, there is no reason or excuse why he would have done this. I'm just trying to we can I forget how Neat Noodle says that we can look, but we're not excusing at all, you know. Hey Miss W, how are you? Yeah, Carl's a good one. He's a good one. We appreciate you for coming and all you guys.
Decker's father, Travis, who was a top wrestler and a football player in his Pewaukee, Wisconsin high school, had more recent mental health struggles, which can be traced, he says, directly to an Army tour in Afghanistan. Kyra 7 has not been able to independently confirm these details from his service from the Department of Defense, but we do know from Decker's fellow soldiers he was able to complete Army Ranger selection at JBLM, and he was deployed to parts of Europe with paratrooper skills. The Washington National Guard told Kyra 7 Decker is technically still a member, but over the last year he missed all of his scheduled drills.
So he wasn't just in the armed forces, you guys. He had the extra discipline and the tenacity to be a ranger. And they just said it takes 2 years of training just to do that. And that also, they found the girls in off of a campsite and 17 miles up a road, and his truck is still there, so he has the expertise to stay hidden longer too because of his background. We got to remember that too.
Just last year, Decker's wife Whitney told the courts, quote, Travis just keeps getting more and more unstable. He has made huge sacrifices to serve our country and loves his girls very much, but he has got to get better for our girls. In recent years, the VA has said they've seen mental health issues in veterans spiking. According to the National Veteran Suicide Prevention Annual Report, the number of vets diagnosed with a mental health or substance abuse disorder in 2021 was nearly 42%. Documents indicate Decker's wife told the courts his mental health declined profoundly at about the same time he became homeless.
Okay, so
Well, it stopped there, I think, guys. That one didn't want to play too well. Anyways, yeah, they said that when he switched from active duty, that he became homeless and he had a hard time finding a job too. So that was a little bit about his military background. Now let's talk about his marriage to Whitney. They were married for about 7 years, and from what I can find, the first filings about divorce were in 2023. Let me look at my notes just to make sure. Yeah, we're in November of 2022 actually, but I'm not sure when it was finalized. Oh, another thing to remember, guys, is that he was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, and we'll see in the filings that he was ordered to get mental health treatment and anger management to a according to a court ordered plan, a parenting plan, but he hadn't done that, and he wouldn't sign that he was even gonna do that. So, I need to look into borderline personality disorder more. I don't really know much about that at all. Do you guys know much about that? I try to research all I can, you guys. And also, when I shared their flyer on Sunday, I think, um, So, and then they were found Monday, and I had a dentist appointment Tuesday, so I haven't been able to look as much as I usually do, but I always try my very, very best. Hey, Trista, how are you? Trista says, hello, Mo Chat. I'm late, but I'm here. This broke my heart when I heard they were found deceased. I know. I know. And I told you guys that I had a bad feeling about this, about them being missing, but I pushed it away and I tried to lean on the hope part. And when you get your hopes up, and as much as we look into these cases, it's so hard, you guys, but we'll do it again. The next time that an endangered person flyer needs shown, we will definitely show it again, and we will definitely pray that, and we will have hope that it's not an outcome with this. um yeah, teacup cracking, yeah. I'm so very sorry that you know about it, firsthand. um oh, Heather Brat, you know about it firsthand too. Yeah, I'll have to look into that more, you guys. So now let's look at, I found an article that tells more about the marriage part. And it shows a steady decline, unfortunately, in Travis's mental health. Um, my computer don't want to work as fast as my brain or my mouth does, guys. Oh, okay, let's see here. So it says documents obtained by Cairo 7 News detailing the divorce of Whitney and Travis Decker and custody of their 3 children show a period of concern before police say Travis took the sisters and killed them. According to the Chelan County Sheriff's Office, the bodies of Paityn, Evelyn, and Olivia were discovered by law enforcement near Leavenworth on Monday after their father had not returned following a planned custody visit on Friday. And also, guys, I think, oh, and also, Travis has not been found, but it is unknown if he is armed, but he may be dangerous. He's trained in a lot of things that would make him dangerous, in my opinion. It says, as they went through court documents chronologically, it appears Whitney's stance on Travis's mental health changed as time went on. Quotes below were taken directly from court documents and have not been edited for clarity, punctuation, or grammar. And I'm not for sure if it says here, but she did say that he was a good dad and he was always there at their activities and their little programs and pageants and stuff. And also, I have to tell you about the 3 little girls too. They were in their GoFundMe. It said that they were students at Lincoln Elementary, you guys, and it was Olivia was in kindergarten, and then Evelyn was in 2nd grade, I believe, and Paityn was in 3rd grade. And Evelyn was on the Fabulous Feet Dance Rock Stars team, and in some of their photos, I know at least Olivia and Evelyn played soccer, and they participated in short Shakespeareans of Wenatchee, which is musical theater. And in some of the visuals, they said that they were Whitney's world. That's where I got that quote on my thumbnail, and that the girls were so involved in the community. And you guys, above all, please help me pray for Whitney. I think these were her only kids, and I just could not imagine, and I don't want any of us to imagine this firsthand. Um, so let's go. So on November 14th, 2022, a petition of divorce was filed. So this was the first thing that I found. So almost 3 years ago. And it was filed by Whitney, and it says within the document she noted that no protection order or restraining order was needed. A parenting plan was also filed where Whitney noted there were no concerns of abandonment, neglect, child abuse, domestic violence, assault, or sex offense. Neither parent had an issue with any of those things. So that was good. It seems like it was mutual back then. 2 years later, in the future court documents, These checkboxes were later changed. On January 21st, 2023, both Travis and Whitney completed the Supporting Children Through Divorce program at WSU Extension of Chelan and Douglas County. And then a little over 2 months later, a findings and conclusions about a marriage document was filed, noting again that no protection order or a restraining order was needed. A parenting plan was finalized also on this day, and again noting no concerns. Travis was scheduled to have the girls every other weekend from Friday at 6 p.m. to Sunday at 6 p.m. But it says a year later, according to court documents, Whitney's opinion on the mental health of her ex-husband appeared to have changed. So at this time, you guys, when he picked the girls up, it was the visitation went from, it was every other weekend on Fridays from 5 to 8, Saturdays from 11 to 7, and Sundays from 9 to 5. So he wasn't allowed to have overnights with them anymore. It says, and this started to change around September 2024. It says a modification to the parental schedule was filed by Whitney's attorney. In the documents, Travis is listed as a transient and asking the court for a major change in the parenting schedule. Whitney says because of a substantial change in one parent situation. The proposed modified parenting plan noted a change to Travis. Specifically, Whitney said that Travis neglected his parental duties towards a child, and Travis has a long-term emotional or physical problem that gets in the way of his ability to parent. She also requested that he be evaluated for anger management, DV, and a full psychiatric evaluation by a licensed psychiatrist to include any potential diagnoses. She wanted the hearing within 30 days of the hearing. She also wanted Travis to enroll in individual counseling sessions with a licensed mental health counselor at least twice a month. She said if Travis did not do these things, the mother will have the choice to further limit visitation. And also on this day, Whitney said since our separation, it has become increasingly clear that Travis has been struggling to maintain stability in his life. The lack of stability led to a negative impact on our children. She said they were deeply affected, which led to heightened emotional stress. This is demonstrated through screaming, crying bouts at drop off or when they get off of phone calls, she wrote. She said it was in the children's best interest to no longer go overnight with their father until he was no longer homeless. She noted that Travis is able to attend events for our daughters. He is engaged and demonstrates a genuine love for them, which are meaningful and appreciated by our children. So she was being honest about these things, you guys, but she was concerned about him being homeless. I think when he picked them up, he would stay at motels and campgrounds, but he lived most of the time in his truck with his dog. Let's see. Travis also has some emotional mental health issues that were the primary catalyst to the end of our marriage, she wrote. His borderline personality disorder and narcissism became rampant. She explained in the October of 2022, Travis moved into the Armory in Wenatchee. A few months later, he moved into an apartment in Wenatchee. When his lease was up, he moved back into the Armory, then purchased an RV. In May 2024, Travis moved to Idaho with his RV, but it was soon repossessed. There were times that I told him I didn't feel comfortable with the girls staying in the Armory with a bunch of strange men, she wrote. He told me he was staying in the RV, but then I found out he was really staying at the Armory again. In June 2024, Whitney says she found out the girls were on mattresses at the Armory. I forgot to look this up, you guys, but this is sounding like a men's shelter, perhaps. It didn't hit me then. For some reason, that was hitting my mind like an armory. It wasn't hitting my mind that it was probably a shelter. It says he has had some outbursts where he has burst into my home against my objections and yelled for the girls, she wrote. She then detailed incidents between Travis and the girls that include on 8:30 of 2023. He didn't want the girls the weekend, even though it was his weekend. Said the girls walk on eggshells because of how he reprimands the dogs. So he would yell at the dogs, and sounds like the girls were afraid that he would yell at them the same way. Bless them. Oh my gosh, you guys. In 12/19 of 2023, Olivia FaceTimed, so she's the youngest. Olivia FaceTimed me screaming, crying. Travis was nowhere in sight. Paityn had to go find him. Paityn was the oldest, and she was 9 when she was murdered. So this was a year and a half ago. Paityn had to go find him, and he was with the dogs. Told me Paityn was unattended in the armory with Olivia playing on the lay pull down machine and smashed Olivia's fingers. Wasn't comforting her. Olivia and Paityn were crying uncontrollably. Come to find out, they had been sleeping in the armory. So not even a year ago, on July 25th of 24, it says, hitchhiked to my house and asked to stay in the basement with the girls, 3 hours late. Said he could pick the girls up from the play, but he was hitchhiking, so the stranger would have had to pick them up. Whitney said that Travis just keeps getting more and more unstable. He has made huge sacrifices to serve our country and loves his girls very much, but he has got to get better for our girls. I do not want to keep Travis from the girls at all. So it seems like she realized that a lot of his problems stemmed from the military. And we all know, we don't even have to say it, we all know that our veterans do not get the care that they deserve. And she was aware of this too, but her first goal was to protect the girls, of course. But it says, according to court minutes, Whitney's attorney told the court that Travis had the children sleep at the armory around dozens of other men, that Travis was homeless and living in his truck. The attorney asked the court to stop the overnight visits with the children until he had secured safe housing. I also have a video of her attorney during this time and what she feels now that a lot of people wronged these girls. I'm not sure, Teacup Kraken. She says, why were the girls allowed to stay at the armory? I have no idea. I have no idea. That's a bad incident waiting to happen. Once Travis was under oath, he told the court there was no reason to change the order because he already didn't have enough time with his children. He said he was voluntarily no longer full-time active Army and has more time to spend with the children. The court ordered there was cause to modify the parenting plan. Whitney's attorney asked for Travis to receive a domestic violence evaluation and psychiatric assessment. The attorney also asked that Whitney be given the ability to limit visitation and that Travis should not be allowed to be alone with the children at any point. Court documents say Travis objected, saying he liked to take the children camping on the weekends. He said he understood Whitney's concerns about his living situation. He said he had no objection to paying child support, but he was currently unable to pay anything. He said it was important for the children to understand how the world works and how they could learn from his current condition. The court disagreed. The court agreed with Whitney and the proposed parenting plan. It also found limiting factors of neglect and emotional/physical problems against Travis. The court ordered Travis to get an anger management DV evaluation and a psychiatric evaluation by a licensed psychiatrist. Cairo News has reached out to the Chelan County to ask about the progress about those evaluations. Travis was granted visitation. So this is where I got this, you guys. Travis was granted visitation every other weekend on Fridays from 5 to 8 p.m., Saturdays from 11 to 7 p.m., and Sundays from 9 to 5 p.m. On Friday, May 30th, just before 10 p.m., the Wenatchee Police Department took a call from Whitney that said that Travis had not returned with Paityn, Evelyn, and Olivia after the planned custody visit. Whitney told police that their divorce was civil, but after he lost his housing, the parenting plan was modified. Yeah, but she asked for him not to be alone with the girls, but obviously, even though he was no longer allowed to keep them overnight, he didn't have, it wasn't, uh, he did, it wasn't what do you call that, you guys? He didn't have to have people with him when he visited the girls. He could take them by himself, supervised. Oh my gosh, you guys, do little words like everyday words, sometimes you can't get them in your brain. Supervised. Hey, Chrissy, good to see you. How are you? That's okay. Yeah, we're glad to have you. How are you? It says she denied any DV during their marriage, but did mention moments of power or control he used. The report says Whitney said Travis randomly leaving or waking her up by screaming at her in the middle of the night. She also said she believes he currently does not take medication. According to the documents, Travis refused to sign the parental notification form and did not seek the mental health, DV, or anger management counseling the court ordered. On the night the children were taken, Whitney said Travis was quieter than usual, which was out of character. And it says the documents also noted the children left home with no supplies for the extended time is believed there is substantial risk of illness or physical injury. So right here it said that on the documents. So again, why didn't the Washington State Patrol, why didn't they grant this Amber Alert? Okay, you guys. Hey Ava Hawkshaw, how are you? It's so good to see you. Thank you for coming by. She says people don't know about requesting a child custody evaluation. It's important to find someone with a lot of experience. All of those evals would have been done under that. It truly saved my child. Oh, I'm so very glad. I'm so very glad for that. Um, so you guys, then on Friday after the girls didn't come back, um, flock cameras. We've heard of them before. And Brat, you have to put in the chat what that stands for. I forget that too. I always forget what that stands for. But it tracked Travis's truck to an area west of Wenatchee. And they also were able to get a warrant for his phone. And they saw that his phone had been in the area where the girls were ultimately found the day before he picked them up. So that leads me to believe this was definitely planned. Let me look at my notes here. So with the flock cameras and the tracking where his phone had been the day before, it led them to Rock Island Campground and in Leavenworth, Washington. And around 3:45, a Chelan County Sheriff Office Forest Service deputy conducting patrol on his motorcycle located Mr. Decker's vehicle in a remote area approximately 17 miles up the road, ultimately discovering the three deceased children, and Mr. Decker was nowhere to be found. And big trigger warning, you guys. Oh, that's awesome, Chris. I'm so very glad. I'm so very glad for that. I can't get out and people a lot. Ever since the Rona, and we were made to stay at home, it's like now my mama, if she grounded me, she would make me actually leave the house. That would be punishment. Oh, so I'm so glad you've been getting out and having fun. Ava says flock safety cameras are security cameras specifically designed to capture vehicle license plates and other vehicle characteristics, not people or faces. Thank you. Thank you for that. Brat says flock cameras are used to capture vehicle description as well as license plates to help distribute the info and catch them. Thanks, guys. Teamwork. Teamwork. So big trigger warning, you guys. When they found the vehicle, they found the girls about 100 yards away down an embankment, and it said that it's not official yet because the autopsies aren't complete, but their cause of death was asphyxiation, and that they had plastic bags they found in the area, and also zip ties were around their wrists or had been around their wrists, and they found two adult size bloody handprints on the back of their truck, but he was nowhere around. I know, Ava. It's absolutely. Mm-mm. So the Wenatchee police were the ones that did the missing report, but now the homicide investigation, the lead in it is the Chelan County Sheriff's Office. Um, so now I think it would be good if we watched the first press conference because they tell a whole lot in it, and the one that they did last night doesn't tell a whole lot. Um, so let me see here. Let me make sure this is the first one. Yeah.
Lead away, sir. Is everybody ready? Try not to tip over the podium here.
And if you guys need me to
Okay,
turn
I
it
am
up, I
Captain
can
Brian
boost
Chance with the
them, so
Wenatchee
just let
Police
me know.
Department. This is Sheriff Morrison, obviously, with the Chelan County. And I'm going to start out the press release and talk about how we got to where we did just a couple of days ago or just yesterday. So I'll start off and give you a timeline of the involvement of Wenatchee Police Department in this case. On May 30th, at about 9:35 p.m., Wenatchee police officer Corporal Gonzalez responded to a call of a civil complaint. In responding to that call, he interviewed Whitney, the mother of the 3 young girls. There was no reported history of problems with the parenting plan. There were reported concerns of Travis being homeless and financially stressed recently. Whitney was clear that during the exchanges that had occurred in the past, that Travis was very communicative with her in any deviations from the parenting plan. Corporal Gonzalez, after speaking with Whitney, was able to identify Decker's vehicle through a local database called Spillman. He took the vehicle information and was able to enter it into Flock, which is a system of cameras that are located within the city and also in Chelan County. Flock located the vehicle, the white GMC Sierra, traveling northbound across the Wenatchee River Bridge. This was shortly after Decker had picked up the children for the visitation. After this information was obtained, and in addition to information that had been received by Whitney that Travis frequented local hotels and often local campgrounds as well, all local hotels and campgrounds in East Wenatchee and Wenatchee were checked by patrol officers from those jurisdictions, and Decker was not located. Park rangers were also contacted at Confluence Park and made aware of the situation. An attempt to locate was then sent out by Corporal Gonzalez to all regional agencies containing Decker's information along with the vehicle information. After that, Corporal Gonzalez made contact with Washington State Patrol and consulted their unit for an Amber Alert. The information at the time did not meet the threshold for an Amber Alert. On May 31st, Corporal Gonzalez contacted Sergeant Eaton at about 7 a.m. and advised him of the situation. After that conversation had occurred, Detective Brian Hewitt with the Wenatchee Police Department and Detective Sergeant Joe Eaton discussed the incident as well, and Detective Hewitt responded that day to continue the investigation. The family was contacted in addition.
I think here, you guys, I'm not sure if it's this one or the most recent press conference, but they're talking about the Amber Alert. And it's talking about how the Wenatchee police contacted the Washington State Police, and um, they didn't even issue the endangered missing alert until 4 o'clock on Saturday. So it was almost 24 hours after Whitney last saw the girls that even the emergency missing alert was issued.
Additional information was obtained. He learned Travis and the daughters did not arrive at a planned 5K running event that morning, which was out of the ordinary to Whitney. Travis had recently had a recent history of attending and being present for all the daughter's events and programs. And, excuse me, at that point, Detective Hewitt started to reach out to some of his contacts at the state and federal levels as well. He enlisted the assistance of the FBI, and with assistance from the FBI, phone location data was obtained for Thursday through Friday, plotting locations in and around Leavenworth. Detective Hewitt then, with that information, went to Leavenworth and started focusing on the areas of Chumstick and Icicle Road, and did not have any success in locating Travis or his vehicle or the girls. Throughout that day, Detective Hewitt had multiple contacts again with WSP, or Washington State Patrol, and continued to provide updates and request an Amber Alert, which still the information that he provided and had obtained did not meet the threshold for the Amber Alert to be activated. However, an Endangered and Missing Person Alert, an EMPA, was activated by the Washington State Patrol approximately 4:00 p.m. I want to explain a little bit that the Endangered and Missing Person Alert does generate a flyer that goes out to all the contacts through that State Patrol Missing and Endangered Person Unit, so that goes statewide. As well, the information for the alert is posted on the reader boards that I'm sure everybody's familiar with on the state highways around Washington, and those were activated here locally on the major ingress and egress highways, just Highway 2 and I-90. Also, on May 31st,
Guys, let me see if I have it in my notes, but I do know that, okay, so it says that for an Amber Alert, persons must be 17 years or younger, reason to believe abduction has occurred, investigated by local law enforcement, ample descriptive information, known danger of bodily injury or death. So they didn't check that last box according to them, I believe. And the difference between the endangered missing alert and the Amber Alert is that our phones don't go off with the endangered missing. So that would have helped a whole lot, in my opinion. It's gonna come down to when they think that the girls were murdered. If it was right away, if he went straight there and did it, the Amber Alert wouldn't have helped, but it could have possibly caught him afterwards sooner, you know. Um, but it's going to come down to that. But it obviously wouldn't have hurt. I have a video that will play after this of the I think he's some kind of manager at the Amber Alert, and we'll see what he says. Um, that's what I'm thinking too, Trista. They just haven't found him yet. Yeah. Yeah, that's Eddie's channel, guys. He changed his name to Well the Thing Is, and I'll have to change his channel name in my Nightbot. But go check him out, you guys. They speak a lot about mental health, and his community really loves him and loves the community that he's built over there. If you guys want to check it out.
Detective Hewitt had developed and communicated probable cause for custodial interference first degree, 3 counts of custodial interference first degree, and began assembling the paperwork to obtain those warrants. The following day, on June 1st, Detective Hewitt conducted additional follow-up and completed his initial report and request for the arrest warrants for custodial interference, which were granted and later entered into the system. The following day, which was Monday, the WPD Detective Unit met to devise a plan for the day on follow-up and submitting necessary paperwork for the warrant to ensure that had all gone through. WSP was contacted again, referenced the Amber Alert, yet we still didn't meet the criteria. The EMPA was deemed to be the best fitting alert, and one of the things that I want to share with everybody about that EMPA, because it is a, I'll say, level below or degree below the Amber Alert, it actually comes with an expiration time, And we were able to work with WSP because we did actually reach our expiration for that alert, and it by policy was supposed to have been pulled down, but through good communication, good cooperation, and the relationship that we've built with Washington State Patrol over a long period of time, they agreed to leave that up. And we also enlisted the cooperation of the Department of Transportation as well, who has some input and does actually help WSP run those reader boards as well. So we were able to get that cooperation, and so I want to emphasize that WSP was very good to work with, as was DOT, and we had that information up and available to the public for as long as possible, extending past what the policy said it should have been up there for. Also on Monday, CCSO detectives were contacted and assisted. We communicated with them and developed a plan for CCSO detectives to check the areas of Chumstick and Icicle Road well. Myself, Sergeant Eaton, and Detective Hewitt, shortly after coordinating with CCSO units, contacted the family and requested a meeting at the Wenatchee Police Department with the family and family representatives at approximately 10 a.m. The primary intent of the meeting was to provide an update to the family and answer any questions that they had about the ongoing investigation. The meeting was very positive and focused on maintaining good communication flowing back and forth both directions to maximize the exchange of information. At about 3:47 p.m., a CCSO deputy located the vehicle up the Icicle near the Rock Island campground. Sergeant Eaton and Detective Hewitt immediately responded to there to assist, and I remained at WPD to continue communication with the family and to coordinate additional law enforcement assistance from down here in the valley should it be needed. Upon arrival at the camp, upon arrival up there, the WPD units that responded connected with CCSO deputies that had responded to the scene as well. And from there, they began their ground search of the immediate area around the vehicle. The initial information that we were provided following the locating of the vehicle was that the vehicle was unoccupied, and shortly thereafter we were advised that the bodies of the three young girls had been located in relatively close proximity to that vehicle, and Travis was nowhere to be found. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Sheriff Morrison and allow him to continue the press conference.
Thank you, Captain. Evening. I'm Chelan County Sheriff Mike Morrison. I appreciate all you being here. I really want to make sure that I point out that it's moments like these where we see our community coming together, paying respects to those young individuals that lost their lives. I want to pay respects to Paityn, Evelyn, Olivia. Your memory will never be forgotten, and we will not stop pursuing justice for you until those that were accountable for this are found. So I do appreciate everyone being here. To follow up, because I know the Captain Chance has already touched on a lot of the topics that we've already discussed, I want to give thanks to the Wenatchee Police Department, Chief Reinfeld, Captain Miller, Captain Chance, Sergeant Eaton with the Detectives Unit that provided Chelan County Sheriff's Office with the information we needed to properly assist them. For those of you who don't know, Chelan County is a large area. We have 2,900 plus square miles. When you're talking about trying to find individuals in a geographically diverse terrain, it's difficult. But by them doing their investigation follow through over the weekend, we're able to pinpoint in the areas of Chumstick Highway, Icicle, Tumwater Canyon. I know that many of you here from the area recognize it's still a pretty large area, but we're fortunate to have partnerships with the U.S. Forest Service that funds some of our deputies, specifically U.S. Forest Service deputies that are contracted with us. Our Forest Service deputy was able to go up the Icicle. We're about 18 miles up for those of you who have not been up there. And that deputy was able to locate the vehicle of the suspect. We did back off to make sure we were in compliance with Washington state law when it comes to de-escalation, controlling pace. We called additional units. I know that many members of the community were concerned, asking why we were having deputies, police officers from East Wenatchee, Douglas County, Wenatchee PD, responding at a high rate of speed. This was an important situation for us. We took it as a high priority. Once we had additional units on scene, we did secure the vehicle, determined that we were able to bring in additional resources, which was our East Cascade SWAT team that did an additional search of the surrounding area of the campsite in question until we determined that a perimeter had been established and that it was safe enough
Guys, this is way way back in the mountains. They said 17 miles up that road, and I just and I think it might be this one or the other press conference. They said they hadn't had dogs out yet. Oh, guys, and also I wanted to tell you about his dog. Um, in one article I read, Whitney said that his dog and his children were what made him happy, and he had been talking about getting rid of his dog recently. But when the police got to the scene, his dog was there. They did find his dog, and I reckon it's all right. So that's one good thing at least. But he worried about his dog, but not his children. I don't know.
For additional detectives and the Washington State Patrol's crime lab to come in and assist us as we process that scene. As Captain Chance already mentioned, that was prompted when we did find the bodies of the deceased. Again, our condolences and our heartfelt sympathy goes out to the Decker family. We know they're struggling, but I want them to know they're not struggling alone. We suffer as a community. It has hit many of us hard. Going on 20 years, I don't think I've had a situation that has really almost prompted tears to come up. We feel for the family, and we see as everyone else is out here, they're not suffering alone. There's a lot of people here supporting them. We were able to do an extensive processing of the scene throughout the night. We maintained perimeter security. Once that was secured, the vehicle was taken back for an additional search warrant. We brought in additional units to come in and assist us. That'd be our federal partners from U.S. Border Patrol, Homeland Security Investigations, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Marshal's Office. They did an extensive search today, in addition to the Air National Guard, bringing in aviation supplies to come in, fly over there. We had drones in the air. We've been conducting a search since early this morning up until later on this afternoon. That unfortunately has not allowed us to locate the suspect yet, but we are not done searching. As we speak, the Marshal's Office, the FBI,
Guys, this kind of reminds me of the same terrain as when the I-75 shooter, when they were looking for him, remember? And I can't believe exactly how long they looked for him in the woods, but as soon as they left, it was the YouTubers that found him deceased, remember? So that's kind of crazy. I think that it's probably the same kind of terrain. Hopefully they look really really good out there. I just have a feeling he's still there.
processing leads, they're conducting follow-up, and we will not rest until Travis is located. Travis, if you're listening, this is your opportunity to turn yourself in. Do the right thing, do what you need to do, and take accountability for your actions. We're not going to go away, we're not going to rest, and we're going to make sure we find you. You will be brought to justice. Those young ladies deserve it. We will take additional questions later on, but the Sheriff's Office, the Wenatchee Police Department, East Wenatchee, Douglas County, and all of our federal partners are going to continue to work with one another to ensure that justice is served. Thank you. Sheriff, is their dad still alive? We are unsure if Mr. Decker is currently alive, but we are taking it that he is still out there. And again, we will not rest until we've located him, whether he's alive or he's dead. We want to make sure that he's brought back.
And for the public that's keeping an eye out for him, is there anything in his records that would suggest that he is violent?
Not at this time, but based off the allegations that are being made against him, we do consider him to be a threat towards the community. We also ask the community to stay out of the Icicle Gorge area for the time being until we can secure that area and ensure that he is not there. That is a big area. We're talking about the enchantments, we're talking about French Creek, going up on those spur trails. It's a popular area that we like to recreate in as well. We don't close it down or encourage people not to go there lightly, but for the best interest of the public, we'd encourage them find other places to recreate until we can ensure that that area is safe. Can you come a little bit closer, ma'am? Thank you.
Would you mind providing a little bit additional details about the scene where the girls were found?
Within reason, but I'm not going to go into a lot of details in regards to the scene because our investigative unit has requested that a lot of that information remain private until we can ensure that the information we are sharing is not going to compromise the investigation. Again, we don't want to rush. We don't want to take any chances that we would give him any opportunity to be able to beat this later on in court.
Is there a belief that he could be outside this area you guys are searching right now, or is there a strong belief that this is here?
Nope, we have no leads.
He was just asking him if there has been one lead, you guys. It was McCall, Idaho, and somebody reported they thought they saw him at a grocery store, but that turned out not to be true as far as I can see.
that are showing specifically where he's at. So as we're taking it, he could be anywhere within the nation. And that's why we have our federal partners on scene helping us bring in additional resources. The medium-sized agency like Chelan County would not be able to provide. Again, this is the importance of having those partnerships with federal government and larger agencies, especially Washington State Patrol. We cannot do this without their assistance, and we're thankful for that.
Do you have any reason to believe Mr. Decker might have found a second vehicle to travel in?
That could be a possibility. Nothing's off the table. We're going to continue to actively pursue him, and we understand that he could be anywhere, and we're taking that into consideration. Thanks to the U.S. Marshal's Office that have come in and brought additional resources. Again, the Federal Bureau of Investigations, Homeland Security Investigations, we are searching anywhere and everywhere for him.
Sheriff, thanks for taking our questions. Have you had any contact with Mr. Decker's family?
We have. We've been in continuous contact. I know that Captain Chance and Captain Miller have been in regular communications with them. I spoke with them yesterday and today and assured them that anything they needed from our local resources, they were available. They are absolutely cooperating. They have been very supportive of our efforts, and we've reminded them we could not do this. We could not conduct our investigation and have a better understanding of Travis without their assistance. And again, we're very appreciative of what they've done so far.
Is Upper Icicle Road still physically barricaded? Is there a point where people cannot travel further?
Our barricade will be lifted later on today. Again, we have continued to
I think that's about all of it, you guys, that the interesting part. But now what I wanted to show you guys, remember I told you that the Chelan County Sheriff's Office were the lead investigators. So I believe it was yesterday they posted the doorbell camera of when he picked up the girls. And I think that is kind of interesting for us to watch. I have that pulled up. Let me see here. Okay, this is it right here. Let me read the post that they made yesterday. Yeah, so that was yesterday, the 4th, right? It says tips continue to come in, more potential leads develop, more locations checked. The team of law enforcement and support personnel working the case continue extensive efforts while acting upon potential leads. As we take an all hands approach to investigating the murder of 3 young girls, the team morale remains elevated as we work toward locating Travis Decker. Investigators are working collaboratively throughout the county and across the state to contact and interview all known associates of Mr. Decker to further develop leads and his potential next moves. Additionally, more teams are being deployed to different sites Mr. Decker was known to frequent in the area. New information has revealed Mr. Decker is well versed in wilderness survival and capable of spending days or even weeks in the wilderness on his own and with very little equipment. Although this can be a challenge while searching for him, our personnel are well equipped and prepared to seek and apprehend him. We have obtained recent video footage and pictures of Mr. Decker, which are attached to this release. However, these videos and photos are from the days leading up to his visitation began with the girls. These are the most recent photos and videos we have that reveal his last known appearance. Anyone with information is urged to call the CCSO tip line, and those are the numbers that I have in my description and also across the bottom of the screen. Sorry, guys, I forgot to make it bigger. Now I'll show you the video of Tony. You think he may still be alive? That is definitely a very big possibility too. I just pray that nobody else gets hurt before they catch him. Now let's look at this video. Let me bring it back. So it looks like he does have long hair now. It looks like he might have a ponytail. Yeah, and facial hair. And it looks like he may have even gotten more tattoos since those last pictures that we had. You wouldn't think that he had just been in the area, came from the area where he ended up taking and murdering his 3 girls, allegedly, you know? So let's see what else this post has. It won't let me exit, dude. There we go. So this is, I think this is the flyer that I shared on my community tab. It says we are asking for the community's assistance in locating Decker. Decker is currently wanted for 3 counts of murder first degree and kidnapping first degree. Decker is a former military with extensive training. If you have seen him or believe to have seen him within the last several days, please contact 911. It is unknown if he is armed at this time, but he should be considered dangerous and should not be contacted or approached. So that's the latest, you guys. But I also wanted to share the manager of the, we'll have to see exactly what his title is, but he is talking about why there wasn't an Amber Alert. Let me find him.
So tell me about your involvement in this case with the missing girls in Wenatchee.
Well, our office, the State Patrol, coordinates the alert systems for the state. We have 4 different alerts: the AMBER, the EMPA, the Missing Endangered Person Alert, the MIPA, which is the Missing Indigenous Persons Alert, and then the Silver Alert. And so our MUPU, well, we've got a lot of abbreviations, but our MUPU, which
Oh, it's good they have an indigenous alert to you guys. Oh, guys, the Emily Pike case. They released body cam of some of her previous times when she left the group home, and it's so sad, you guys. She's crying, saying she don't want to go back and stuff like that. And excuse me, we need to talk about her case again. That's one that's very close to my heart too. But I'm glad they have a national Indigenous Missing Persons Alert too in Washington. That's really good.
which is our Missing and Unidentified Persons Unit, coordinate the alert systems. So I work closely with them.
What was the alert that was issued in this case with the 3
It was
girls?
an EMPA, an Endangered Missing Persons Alert, which is for someone who cannot assist in their own recovery. So if someone, because of age or some sort of cognitive impairment or physical impairment, not able to assist, then it will be an EMPA. Amber Alerts are a federal program. The other programs are state programs. And so the Amber Alert has very specific federal requirements.
Yeah. Talk to me about that. I mean, it sounds like those requirements weren't met in this case.
There are 5 requirements. The first is obvious: 17 or younger, is because it's for children. The second one is the one. There are 2 of the 5 that this situation didn't meet, and the second one was that there's evidence of abduction. Now, just because a parent with custodial privileges is late bringing a child back does not mean there's been an abduction. And so there was not specific evidence of an abduction. But there was, 2 of the others, it was being investigated by a local law enforcement agency and reported to the FBI and all those sorts of things that are required. And the fourth thing is there was ample information that would help us find the people if we had the alert. Sometimes we'll have folks say, my daughter's missing, my grandfather's missing, whomever's missing. They don't have a photo, they don't really have a very good description, they don't know exactly where he or she was.
How did Sebastian Rogers? They didn't have evidence of his abduction either. So, but they did issue an Amber Alert in that case. You all feel me? Why do they allow some cases to slide and not meet all criteria, but they don't allow others? And how many times have we seen Amber Alerts where they're with with another parent? We see that all the time.
They don't have a vehicle license or description. There's just nothing. They're missing. But in this case, we had all of that. So we had ample information. But then the last requirement is the one that really is the one that didn't allow it. And that was that there's direct evidence that the person that's missing is in danger of serious bodily injury or death. And we just didn't have that in this case.
The EMPA, it sounds like, is sort of
it's a catch-all.
It's a short of we want to get this word out.
Yeah.
I know we as media organizations, we received it. Talk to me about the scope of when an EMPA alert goes out.
Well, both the AMBER and the EMPA go out to, all of our alerts go out to our broadcast partners, and you folks do a great job. Coma does a great job of putting the word out, whether it's radio, television, your social media, and so it amplifies the alert immediately. There's also a listserv that people can sign up for, and we have thousands of people across the state who have signed up and get every one of our alerts. And then with EMPA and AMBER, we have a relationship with the Department of Transportation where they use their variable message boards, the reader boards, and so you get, the missing person, they get a vehicle description, that sort of thing. But the difference between EMPA and AMBER, the AMBER has that push notification that we all get on our phones, makes the loud noise, and you have to look at it and you have to turn it off, so you have to address it. The EMPA does not have that. But other than that, this was a very wide-ranging alert that went out across the state. We target them geographically. And I believe it was on Saturday where, in discussions with the Wenatchee Police Department, where we expanded the geography of the alert system. I believe it went from north central to northwestern region, which is a much bigger, all-encompassing region. But we were having discussions with them from Friday night on about what can we do. If the AMBER was not going to be able to use that, if we weren't eligible for the AMBER, then what could we use? And the EMPA was the best we could do.
Yeah. There was also a lot of ground searches going on. I mean, was State Patrol assisting in that?
Mostly.
That wasn't the best they could do. It's the best they were willing to do, in my opinion.
The local investigating agency, but for instance, right now our crime scene team is looking at the crime scene. So we're involved as requested by the local investigatory agencies.
Yeah. Anything else you feel like we want to add? I know a lot of people are asking that question about why didn't this AMBER alert go out. In short, what would you tell them?
In short, it didn't meet the federal requirements for an AMBER alert. And it's important that we maintain those requirements lest our alert systems become noise rather than signal. They're very effective because they're used in a targeted fashion. I believe this year there's been 3 AMBER alerts. There's been 14 EMPA alerts. There's been 22 MIPA alerts, the missing indigenous persons. There's been 42 silver alerts. So, the farther away you get from those specific requirements, the more likely you are to have the alert. But ask yourself, when you see an AMBER alert, do you pay attention more than a silver alert? Well, you do, because you know the importance of it. We expanded the EMPA through the day. Monday, we got word that he may be thinking about leaving the state, so we worked with the states that were possible. So continuing to expand, and of course Friday in that search, they physically found the bodies. And we don't know the timelines. We don't know when the girls killed. We don't know whether the alerts would have made a difference. We just don't know.
Yeah.
But we do all we can do, and sometimes it's not enough, and it breaks your heart.
So tell me about your.
So now we have heard what he has to say. So now let's listen to what the Decker family attorney has to say. And I believe she was also the attorney that was with Whitney for the divorce. So she knows this family really well. So let's listen to what she has to say.
Greg, Joyce, that attorney was wrapping up a meeting with the mother, Whitney Decker, when we arrived here in Wenatchee this afternoon, along with U.S. Marshals and local law enforcement. Whitney was teary-eyed but composed and says she's not ready to talk, at least not yet. We are getting a fuller picture of Travis Decker, the man whose life appeared to be falling apart with mental illness, homelessness, and the inability to hold down a job. And access to his kids was cut to every other weekend after a custody hearing 9 months ago.
He was an engaged father. He did have some limitations on his parenting time due to his mental illness.
The mother's attorney in the custody case says Travis became homeless a year and a half ago after leaving the Army as a Ranger.
He left voluntarily, so I believe his discharge was honorable. I think as far as the reserves, he just stopped showing up.
The attorney says Travis worked a couple of minimum wage jobs and at one point was talking to the carpenters union about possible work, but his skills just didn't transfer.
There were no red flags. He was.
Guys, did you see that? They showed, I think they said that that photo was at a gas station shortly before the girls went missing. So that's a recent photo of him too.
He left voluntarily, so I believe his discharge was honorable. I think as far as the reserves, he just stopped showing up.
The attorney says Travis worked a couple of minimum wage jobs and at one point was talking to the carpenters union.
Yes, this one right here, I believe on the left. That's and the one, those both are very recent photos of him of what he could look like. And with the reserves, they don't make a lot of money. I think I heard, I don't know if you guys watch it, but his name is Caleb something, and he has people on and he tries to help them budget and stuff on YouTube. And this lady was in the reserves, and she said she only made like 300 and something dollars a month, and they were garnishing his wages for back child support. So he was having a very hard time financially. Heather says, I hate this guy. So, how many more children have to have their lives taken before the requirements are changed? I am with you 1000%. And after things like this happen, we all say that laws need to be changed and things like that. We all say that, but instead of saying it, we need to start doing it too, you know? Walking the walk and talking the talk. And I can't walk the walk, but I'm definitely in it with you guys too, though.
Union about possible work, but his skills just didn't transfer.
There were no red flags. He was struggling with isolation and
Records show Decker was diagnosed with a serious mental illness. The attorney says that was most likely related to his combat and that Decker tried and tried to get help, but there was too much red tape to get veteran services.
She really feels that the system let her children down. It was the inadequacies in the services for our veterans that killed those children. That's it.
The attorney and the mom are also raising concerns.
So it sounds like that Whitney is angry that about the veteran services, and we all talk about that too. We all know that look at them, you guys, look at their sweet faces. Oh. We all say that our veterans aren't treated with the respect that they deserve either, and we need to walk the walk about fixing that system too.
Concerns about the state's Amber Alert system. Law enforcement officials say they did not see Decker as an immediate danger to his own children, so no Amber Alert was sent out. The attorney says the mother thinks that was a deadly mistake.
They did not see him as an immediate physical danger to his children, despite the fact that he had a well-established history of mental health issues. And had they had seen it that way, those children might still be alive. And that's the thing that is so brutal. And the one thing she's really hoping can be changed in this tragedy.
It appears Whitney has a lot of support around her tonight. Her mother was by her side this afternoon when we saw her, and that attorney told us that even Travis Decker's father has been talking to her by phone and is now flying in from the Midwest. Live in Wenatchee, Alex McClune, King 5 News.
I'm glad she has her mama, and I'm glad that Travis's family is helping her too. This is the time for everybody to come together, definitely. Let me look if there's anything else that I wanted to show you guys before we leave. Let me show you some more photos of the babies, you guys. Look at Whitney and them here. That's Evelyn, she was 9, and that's Olivia, that's Paityn, she was 9, and then That's Olivia. She was the youngest, and then there's Evelyn over there on the right. And there's the two youngest. And there's them with their mama again. Oh, look at them, you guys. I know they love to dance. And there's Paityn. Oh, there's the baby. It's awful, you guys. Absolutely awful. There was another, oh, no, guys, I didn't make it bigger for you. I'm sorry. There was another press conference last night, but nothing new came out. They did just show that video of him from when he picked them up and some of the more recent photos that they found, but nothing really. Me too, Brad. Me too. Yeah. Oh, I know 71. And some people were saying, well, they would have had to arrest me. I wouldn't have let my kids gone. Well, yeah, but then who's going to look out for your kids when you're in jail? You know? I just couldn't imagine being put in that situation knowing that they had to go. But like she said, up until that point, he had always communicated with her, and he did good with the visitations, and he went to all their little programs and activities and stuff. And so, who would have thought that something this awful would have happened? You know. So now let's get to a good story, you guys. I believe it was on. Remember, it might have been last week or the week before. There was a little girl in Pennsylvania. Well, she was a teenager in Pennsylvania, and she was walking home, and a man tried to. He came up to her, and he had a big whiskey bottle. Remember, and he said, "Are you scared?" and was trying to push up on her and stuff, and she saw the owner of that shop and his wife, and she said, "Is that my Aunt Rachel?" And they just played along and said, "Oh, yeah, yeah." And they got her in the store and locked the door. And that man was banging on the window, still trying to get to her. Remember? And so 71 says it's easy to say what you would do, but you really have to be in that situation. Yes, exactly. And I pray that none of us are ever in any of these situations that we talk about. Um, Yep. So it was May the 6th, and this little girl she's 13 years old, and she was walking home from school in this town called Carmel by the Sea in California. And they think that this attacker was also under the influence. And he jumped out from between two cars and tried to punch her in the face. But you guys, this little girl was prepared. She had taken jujitsu for 3 years at the Carmel Youth Center, and so she punched him. Got him in a headlock, kneed him a couple of times, spun him around, and then she stepped on his foot and broke his ankle. And so I want to show you guys that video, and I'll show you the drawing at the end of the attacker. And what I could find, it doesn't seem like he's been caught yet, guys. But whoever he is, he has a broken foot now. Yes, Brett. And this little girl that we're talking about today, her sensei is he's going to talk to us, and he says that she did really good standing up for herself, and that was a he said, I got a quote. It says, "You don't see it very often where a juvenile is brave like that, to have that type of self confidence, that awareness to be a quick decision maker and make a decision that's going to keep themselves safe." That's what the law enforcement said. And that's true. That's so true, to have that type of self confidence. And this little girl is 13.
home from school turning into a terrifying moment for a Carmel by the Sea 13-year-old girl when she was face to face with a man trying to physically assault her. The girl managing to fight him off using jujitsu.
Halfway home, a gentleman was standing in between two cars and he stepped out to punch her in the face.
For 3 years, she has been attending jujitsu classes with Sensei Michael Blackburn at the Carmel Youth Center. Taking what she learned in class into real life to escape her attacker.
She punched him, she wrapped it, got him in a headlock, kneed him a couple of times, spun him around, threw him on the ground, and she had stepped on his foot doing all this. And when she threw him to the ground, she broke his ankle.
She was able to run home and is safe. However, with her attacker still on the loose, her family and police have asked to keep her identity anonymous.
That we're doing everything we can to figure out who this person is that's responsible for what happened.
Carmel police say they do not have a solid lead on the man yet, but have released
There's the sketch, you guys.
this sketch of what they believe he looks like.
The person was acting unusual, like potentially under the influence of something or dealing with some other personal issue.
That's like the attacker where the little girl used her Aunt Rachel. That man was also under the influence. Thankfully, he was caught. But I'm still trying to find if this guy was caught. It was May the 6th when this happened.
For Sensei Blackburn, it is heartbreaking to know his student was put in this situation, but he is grateful she knew how to defend herself.
I told her we were proud of her, and she did exactly what she was supposed to do. You have to fight in class like you're going to protect yourself on the street.
The 13-year-old girl hoping her story serves as a reminder to other young women that knowing self-defense can save your life. Police do not have any information on whether this man could attack again. Right now, they are asking for the community's help in identifying him.
Well, he absolutely could attack again. He done it once, and he's probably thinking he got away with it, so he could do it again, but he might have learned his lesson.
If you've seen anyone matching this sketch, have ring camera footage, or know anything at all, you're asked to reach out. You can do so using the email on your screen. Reporting in Carmel, I'm Zoe Hunt, KSBW.
So that's two instances. That little girl is a 13-year-old, and I can't remember how old the one that used her Aunt Rachel was. Maybe 15 or 16. But who knows what could have happened to them, you guys. So that's two good stories. Instances recently. Fast thinking little girls, and it's sad that they have to be put in these situations and they have to think these ways. But I bet if you spoke to their parents would say that they had talked to them and tried to prepare them for things like this. It's a fine line, I would say, because you don't want to scare your kids, but you want them to be prepared. Like Ryan Hall says, he says, be prepared, not scared, you know? So I think that's all that I have for you guys today. Let's look one more time at Travis's photos. And like I said, you guys, it's on my community tab. It's my most recent post, and it has more pictures of him that you can share. Oh, I've got us on the wrong tab. I've got us in the good, must be a miracle tab. Let me get us to the right one, guys. I let you guys see all my folders. I like to have everything organized. Let's see here. So this is what he looks like. I gotta make it big again. There's nothing wrong with being organized at all. So let's see here. So this is what he looked like back when he was clean, well, a little bit more clean cut. And from that doorbell camera, it does look like he has more tattoos on his arm. And he is not real tall. He's 5 feet 8 inches tall and weighs 190 pounds. And he's 32 years old. He could be still in the Wenatchee area. the Chelan County, but he could really be anywhere, guys. And his truck was still found at the scene. So, but the I-75 shooter, remember, he had his car parked a little ways away, so he could have even had another car parked there to escape from. Or who knows really, you guys. That's when he looked like he has long hair in the more recent photos. He had a ponytail, remember? So I think that that's all that I have for you guys. Thank you so very much for coming to hang out with me today. Like I said, I shared their flyer the first day that I saw it. I think it was Sunday probably. And then to hear on Monday when they found them, I was just devastated, you guys. I felt so bad. And because I was already, connected, and oh, it was bad, you guys. But now what we can do is pray for Whitney and that community, and help me pray that he's captured before anybody else gets hurt. Well, thank you, 71. She says a very good job as usual. Thank you so very much, guys. I really, really appreciate it. And thank you to my mods for and my friends for coming to help me today. And if you guys hear any more updates before I do, please email me, and email me if you'd like to be in my Discord. We That's where I share things that I don't put on my community tab, or I share updates that I find. And we also do our Trista shares her daily devotions in there, and she also shares them on her YouTube community post. If you guys want to subscribe to her, hopefully you would get those in your notifications too on your homepage. And then also Vanessa Nature Rocks. I'm not sure where she is today. I'll have to check on her, but please check out her channel too. Yeah. Thank you so very much, Brad. Okay, I love you guys. Thank you so very much. And hopefully we'll have an update soon that he's caught, and we'll have more good updates for next time. But until then, remember to say your prayers and take your vitamins, okay? I love you guys. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.